Hi guys, thanks for joining me on Making with Marilyn. Now I had a subscriber ask if I would make some baseball or softball earrings, and so while I'm waiting for another project to dry, I'm going to go ahead and see if I can't do that. I've already clicked on New Project and I've uploaded some laces, so let's go to my uploaded. Here's the laces that I uploaded earlier, so I'll insert that, and then I'll go back to upload. I'll find a pair of earrings or an earring, and I'll insert that. Now I like my earrings to be about 2¼ inches long, so I'll change the height to 2.25, and then I'll change the color to white. Okay, so let's move that up here. Now here's my laces. Here's the problem. To get them to fit on the earring, I'd have to make them smaller. Let me bring that to the front. Okay, to get them to fit on the earrings, I'd have to make them so small that they look, I don't know, I don't really like that. So here's what I'm going to do. First, I'm going to duplicate that, and then on one of the sets, I'll click Contour, and I'll hide the right side. Come up here and X out. Then on this top set, I'll hit Contour, and I'm going to hide the left side. Now I'll just move this a lot closer to the other lace, and hopefully that will work out well. Now before I move them though, I want to click on both, click on Align, and I'm going to say center vertically so that they'll be at the same level from top to bottom. I don't know if that made sense, but let me show you what well here, let me move these over so that you can see what I'm talking about. Okay, so let me make them so they're not even. That'll give you a better idea. So we'll select both of those, click on Align, select vertically, and it gets them up together in the right area. Okay, so let me group those so I can move them together. I think that needs to be a little smaller. Whoops. All right, I'll just move my earring instead. A little smaller yet. Okay, so I think that looks pretty good. That would be one way you could make softball earrings. Let me go ahead and select both of those and duplicate them. Now another way I saw them was for these laces to be at an angle, and I thought that was kind of cute. Let's go ahead and group these back and turn them like this. I'm going to ungroup again because they're not in the right place. And I'm going to make this one a little bigger because it has more room in this fatter part of the earring. Make this one a little smaller. In this case, maybe you would even want to do something like number 15. Maybe that's your child's number. And you can move it in there. So that's pretty cute. Okay, I want to try this again. Let's duplicate that. And then here's a third way. We will go ahead and need to find the stitches on this. They're grouped together. It's not that set. Okay, it should be this set. Yes. Okay, so I want to go ahead and ungroup those. Then I'll take one and move it more up in this vicinity. And then I'll take this other one make it a little bigger. Okay, I think this one, yeah, maybe this one needs to angle a little bit more so that it has a similar angle to that side or that part of the lace. I kind of like these. Just kind of play with it till you really like it. I need to make it a little bit smaller. Angle it just a little bit more, just move it around. Okay, so that's what I like. Now, I say that, let me move this a little bit more. Okay, we're going to go with that, and then I'm going to put in some text. Our baseball team is called the Trojans. Now let's see what I can come up with rather quickly. Let's see what this Adobe Gothic Standard looks like. Okay, I like that. I'm going to move the letters closer together because my word is going to be pretty small. So I need to save some space. Now, notice how these are so close together and these are far apart. So I can click Ungroup. I can move the O over, move the R over, and then move the T over. I think this other side is jammed together a little too closely. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and select all those, go to Align Bottom. Whoops. I'm just going to take my J and move it down because everything else looks fine. Okay, that looks pretty good. So I'll select them all, group them back together, make them a lot smaller. Now let's see how it fits on the earring. And I want it to be angled just like the stitching is angled. Okay, we're going to make it smaller and smaller. And one more time. I think the angle on it isn't quite right. I think it needs to be more like that. And then hopefully last adjustment is to move it over to the left side a little bit more so it's centered in there. Okay, so here's 3 ways where I could see you could make some earrings, whether they're baseball or softball. Let's go ahead and change the colors the way we want them to be. I know that I want my laces to all be red. Select both laces over there, red. And then my laces, I'll select both laces in this middle one, change those to red. And then I think I would use black for the lettering just so it'll show up really well and be a nice contrast. Now here's going to be the problem if I try to make all three of these. Let me show you. I haven't attached anything or welded anything. Look, if I click Make It, the white layer's fine. The black layer, the letters, they're all over the place. And then look how those are. I don't want to deal with any of that. So I want to select these two laces here and click Attach. And then I want to select the top and the bottom lace and select Attach. And then this top and the bottom lace and select Attach. So now my red layer should look much better. Let me show you what it looks like. There, we at least have 3 sets of laces. So we're good there. And then I want to attach all those together. And then my Trojans word, I want to attach it together. Now when I click Make It, I have my 3 earrings. I have my word Trojans and 15. And then I have my 3 sets of laces. Now that I've made the 3 designs, I want to go ahead and cut one of the pairs out. And I think I'm going to go with this pair here. Okay, so for now I'm going to go ahead and select all of this, group all that together, click all of this second one, group all of it together, and now I want to hide those 2 earrings. So I'll hide that middle one. Now let's find this one over here on the left. I'm going to go ahead and hide it. Okay, so now what I need to do is duplicate this so that I have 2 earrings. Then the last thing that I want to do, and I usually wait until I'm cutting everything to do this, but in this case I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to flip it horizontally. And same thing with this earring. When you're using heat transfer vinyl, you need to mirror it, and so this takes the place of mirroring it. Now I'll click Make It. And the first layer will be my white leather earrings. So I'll move those down to 2 inches down and 2 inches over. Click Continue. Browse the materials, type in leather. I'm going to select genuine leather. Done. Now it wants me to make sure my wheels, the star wheels, are all the way to the right, that they're not in the way, and to use my deep point blade. Now I'm going to prep my cutting mat with this contact paper, sticky side up. When I cut leather, I typically use some contact paper to protect my mat. The leather can leave a lot of fuzzy fibers on your mat. I'm using a piece of genuine leather, but you could use faux leather. You could even use fabric if you treated it with something to make it stiff enough. I'm going to go ahead and tape this down. I'm going to give it another good braying. And then I do want to check my deep point blade, make sure it's clean. So you just press on this at the end and then clean anything off of it. Okay, let's see how this did, just in case we need to recut it. Okay, that looks fine. So I'll remove these from the mat the way I always do. I pull my mat down so that it kind of pops up. Sometimes the contact paper stays on the back of the leather, or I'm sorry, on the front of the leather. In this case, it stayed on the mat. If it does pull up with the leather, you just need to remove it. Here's the cut. You can see that there are some frayed edges. Some people will paint a product on that. I tend to just clean them off with a really nice pair of scissors. And so I will just go around and clean them off the back side like that. And I'll do that on the entire earring before I put my vinyl on it. Go ahead and move to this black layer. I'm just going to use regular heat transfer vinyl for this. I do need to change my material, so I'm going to change that to just everyday iron-on. And it wants me to put my fine point blade in, so I'll do that. For my black layer, I'm going to use this Easy Weed Stretch HTV. You don't need to have a lot of stretch on your earrings, but this is what I have, and so I'm going to use it. You can see I put a little label on things that I've opened, and it tells me to preheat 2 to 3 seconds, press at 305 for 10 to 15 seconds, and then this can be a hot peel or a cold peel, and I think I have a partial piece in here. It looks like it. Okay, that ought to be big enough. On heat transfer vinyl, you typically have a carrier sheet, that's the shiny side, and then the vinyl. You need to have the carrier sheet side down. You don't cut through that. And then the vinyl side is up. Okay, we'll go ahead and remove the mat from the vinyl. And I'll set that aside. I'll weed both pieces at the same time. My last layer are my laces, or is my laces, and I'm going to use a glitter red HTV for that. So I'll put that down. Now, just like I had to change my setting to go from leather to the everyday iron-on, I need to change my settings again to go to the glitter HTV. So let me do that real quick. Okay, now I just realized that I was using that deep point blade on the last piece of vinyl. So hopefully it didn't cut all the way through my material. If it did, I might have to recut that. That was a big mistake. So I'll make sure I have this shiny side down, which I do, and we can go ahead and cut that. So again, I'll just remove my mat from my HTV. And then to save vinyl, I'll just cut tightly around my cut. Now, let's see if this cut all the way through. I don't think it did. I think we're going to be okay. Now to weed, I'm just going to grab a corner and pull up on it. Okay. So it kind of lifted my T and my R, but it's perfectly fine. They're okay. It just lifted up and then it sat back down. HTV is so easy to weed that sometimes I go a little too fast. So let me weed my centers. Okay, so here, now I lost, I lost the little dot on my eye. So I don't know where it went. It might still be in here. Yes, it is still on this piece. So I'm going to lay this back down. Over the letters, and I'll get pretty close to where it should be. It may not be perfect. Get rid of part of that. Okay, try this again. I'm going to try to hold it down with my little weeding tool and see if I can't get it to release. Okay, so I got it to release. It's a little bit close to the J. See if I can't drag it a little bit. I might just have to live with it. Okay, I think that's fine. I think I got it fixed okay. There we go. Minor setback, right? Okay, so these are the 4 laces. Now my red glitter HTV, I got this off of Amazon, and it's 305 to 320 for 10 to 15 seconds, and it is a cold peel. I'm going to use my little Easy Press Mini, and I'm going to try to do this on the low temperature. And so you press once to turn it on. There are 3 bars here. The first bar lit up in orange. Once it turns green, I'm ready to go. So to figure out where the word Trojan goes, I'm going to have to first at least lay down the red glitter HTV. So let me go ahead and start with this earring here. Take your time to line it up. Now I was supposed to preheat my material and I didn't. And I can see it's barely running over the edge, so I need to move it down just a little bit. Okay, that looks fine. I think what I'll do is I'm going to press from the back side for about 5 seconds. Because that's similar to preheating it. Now flip it over, and on this glitter it said 10 to 15 seconds. So I'll start with 10. It's going to have a second pressing, and so I want to do the least amount of time. So now, since it's a cold peel, I can't know immediately if that's going to work. So we'll move on to this other earring. Okay, I think that looks pretty good. Flipping it over, doing it just about 5 seconds. Then for 10. Now, while I let those cool, I'm going to move my camera down. I meant to have it a little closer for that clip. Okay, hopefully being closer you can see the details a little better. Now, I started with this one, and this one is not hot at all. So let me see if it's going to come off yet. Okay, so that carrier sheet came off just fine. I really like the little amount of bling that this glitter gives to it. This one's still kind of warm. Let me wait just a minute for that one. While I'm waiting on that one, I'll go ahead and put my Trojans on. Now let me look at this again. This was 10 to 15 seconds at 305. We're going to use the low setting, and it's hot or cold peel. I feel like I should probably wait for it to cool down some for the sake of the glitter. I don't know if that's right or not, but I don't think that would hurt. Okay, so let me look at that. All right, let me move it over just a little bit. Okay, I think that looks pretty, I need to, never mind, let me angle it a little bit more, or angle it a little bit less. I'm trying to have it be the same angle as the laces. And I'm off to the side, so it's a little bit harder to do. Okay, I think that looks good. Now, you definitely want to cover this with a Teflon sheet or something like that, because otherwise your glitter HTV, where there's not a carrier sheet over it from the word Trojans, your glitter HTV is exposed, and that could easily melt. So I'll cover it over, and I'm going to do about 10 seconds. Okay, I can go ahead and peel the carrier sheet off of this earring. Let's see if that looks about like this one. I think it looks pretty darn close. Let me hold it up so I can look at it very closely. Okay, I slightly adjusted it. So again, another 10 seconds. Okay, while that one's cooling, let's go ahead and bring this one back and see if the Trojans is going to stay down. Go nice and slow. In case it doesn't, you can lay it right back down and redo it. In this case, it did beautifully. So I'm going to do just a couple more seconds, maybe 3 more seconds. I'll do this one for just a few more seconds. Now, if you notice that it wants to stick to my Teflon sheet, this glitter HTV, I've noticed it allows just a little bit of the adhesive to ooze out from under it. And so it's hard to use this glitter HTV on anything dark because you can slightly see it, but on white it doesn't show at all. So there's my 2 earrings. I think those turned out very, very cute. So now I'm going to go ahead and put the hardware on. I will probably fast forward through most of this because I've shown this on so many videos. If you want to know how this works, there are a ton of videos to go back and look at, but I just don't want to bore you. So let me fast forward through this and then I'll show you a picture at the end. Now, if you liked my video or learned anything from it, anything inspirational in it, please give me a thumbs up. I truly appreciate those. If you have any questions, comments, or suggestions, please leave them in the comment section. And if you'd like to see what I'm working on in the future, hit that subscribe button. Then if you tap the bell, YouTube should notify you when I upload new content. Thanks so much for joining me. I'm Marilyn. Bye-bye.